Hey there, it's Hillary, and today I'm going to be doing a couple of unboxings. I have two boxes to open. One is from Book Outlet and the other is an order from Amazon. I'm going to start with the Amazon one because I'm super excited about what's in here. I know what is in this box and I'm very excited to get it. And it is actually my pre-order copy of War Storm, so I'm super excited to have this one and continue with the Red Queen series. The Red Queen series is one that's right over here in my dystopian section, and I actually don't have King's Cage on my shelf. I don't own that one. I wanted to get all the books in paperback, but then I wanted to pre-order the book, so I might just go ahead and buy it on hardback and just have two hardbacks and two paperbacks. I haven't decided yet, but I'm super excited to have that one, and I think as soon as I finish the book that I'm working on, I'm going to pick that one up and read it. Book Outlet was doing a $5 paperback sale, so I went on there and I did some shopping. I picked out a ton of books. I lowered my selection down to about 10 books, so I think I have a box of 10 books here, and most of them are completing series that I have on my shelf already, so I think I'll talk about a little bit about each one and if I know what the series is about, and we're going to go ahead and get right into this box. So the book that is on top is Revolutionary. It is by Krista McGee, and it is the third book in this series. The only thing I know about this series is that it's a dystopian series, and I ended up finding the other two at the Goodwill for very cheap, so I always wanted to get the third one in the series. Each book is not very long. They are only about 300 pages each, and I remember when I saw them in the Goodwill the first time, I thought that they sounded interesting, and I always kept my eye out for them, and I found the second one first, and then I found the first one, and I was never able to find the third one. So when I saw it on the Book Outlet sale, I decided to go ahead and get it because it was really cheap. The next book that I picked up was the City of Los Angeles in the Mortal Instruments series. This was the only book in this series that I did not have, so I was really excited when I saw this one on there, and it was super cheap. I had been keeping an eye on these series books on there, and they were always a little bit more expensive than what I wanted to pay, especially since most of the books that are up there I found at the Goodwill for $1 or $2. So when this one was on sale for only a couple dollars, I decided it was the time to go ahead and pick that one up. So I was very excited to find that one. The next book is the short story collection for the Viral series, which I really enjoy. Kathy Reichs is one of my favorite authors, and she wrote this series. She co-authored it with Brendan Reichs, which I believe is her nephew, and this is like a sci-fi mystery type series. It's about a group of teens who gets some abilities, and this is the short story collection. A lot of the stories are in between each of the books, and there's also a story that comes after, so I've always been on the lookout for this one. I had seen it available on Kindle. I had actually not seen it available in a paperback book before, but it was always $10, and I am usually pretty hesitant to pay $10 for a short story collection because, one, they're not usually very long, and two, they're not usually something that I'm going to read a second time. So when I only saw it for like $3 I'm okay with paying for. So I was super excited to find that one as well. These are all books that I was very excited to find, and they were all very good prices, and like I said before, most of them I'm completing series or working on series, so that was also very fun. Very awesome. The next one that I got was Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. I am currently working on my Throne of Glass series. I have the first and second book, and I actually don't have the third or fourth book, but I don't think they were available, so I went ahead and picked this one up, and I'm going to keep my eye out for the other books. This is a series that I have not started, but I am the type of person, I want an entire collection, or at least most of a collection, before I start reading books, because If I get into a series and I really enjoy it, then I like to keep reading the books back to back, and I'm not very patient actually, so I don't like ordering the books after I'm already reading one, because then I feel torn between, do I start another book while I'm waiting for this next book in the series to arrive and then possibly get hooked into another book, or do I wait? And I'm pretty much always reading a book, so it doesn't make sense for me to wait. So I like to gather up at least a few books in a series before I start reading them. The next one that I got was actually the first book in the Darker Shade of Magic. I was actually super excited to see this one on there. I just recently read like my first B.E. Schwab books. I read the Monsters of Verity duology and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed her writing style, and I read some of her short stories that have been in some other books, specifically the one in Because You Love to Hate Me. And I wanted to read more of this. This is a series that I have been wanting to read, and since it was in paperback, I was very excited to go ahead and pick this one up for only a couple dollars. The next book is Siren Song, and this is a series that I have on my shelf. I've had the first two books for a while that I actually got from Book Outlet, and they were actually very cheap, but the third one was always more expensive. So when this one was on the paperback sale, I decided now was time to go ahead and get it. Series, I think, is only 3 books long. It's a fantasy series. Other than that, I don't know too much off the top of my head about it. I remember when I saw the first book, I was very interested in it. We will see if reading it is all that I hoped it will be. At least now that I've completed this series, if I really enjoy it, I can keep reading it, and if I don't enjoy it too much, I didn't pay too much for the series altogether. The next book that I got, I ended up getting another Cassandra Clare book. I got Clockwork Princess. I am going to read the books the way that they're sort of suggested online. I'm going to read the first 3 books of the Mortal Instruments series, the 3 books of the Infernal Devices, and then the second 3 of the Mortal Instruments. I think a lot of people suggest that you read them that way, so I actually have Clockwork Angel and Clockwork Princess. I need to get Clockwork Prince, but I actually have it on hold from my local library. So when I do finally get around to reading that series, I will have all of these books available to me. And I also have her newest series on hold from the local library. Also, I have the Bane Chronicles on my shelf. I have a lot of Cassandra Clare books on my shelf that I have collected, and now that I finally have like a full series almost, I'm excited to finally start reading it this year. The next one is Perfect, which is the second book in the Flawed series or duology. I'm not sure how many books it is, but I was super intrigued by the Flawed story. I love dystopian, so I was really excited to read that one. I have not read that one because when I found out there was a sequel to it, I wanted to get the sequel before I read Flawed. So now that I have these 2 books, I will go ahead and read them, and I am hoping that I really enjoy them. I'm pretty sure that Flawed, I think it was in like a book subscription box at one point, but I also think it has pretty good ratings on Goodreads, so I am very excited to read that one, and I usually really enjoy dystopian, so I'm excited to give that one a try. The next one that I have is Wind Witch, which I have been also waiting to buy this one as well. I have Truth Witch on my shelf, which I think I've also gotten from Book Outlet. Now that I have this one, I think that I might read these soon. I do know that this is going to be a longer series, and it's not only going to be 2 books, but I do have the 2 books that are out now, so I might decide to go ahead and start reading it and then continue with the series as it comes out. Like I said, I'm not usually a very patient person, so I don't like reading books like that, but there are some series that I have read where the next book is coming out. Marissa Myers, I read a lot of her books as soon as they come out. Kathy Reichs, I read a lot of her books as soon as they come out. I'm currently reading the Three Dark Crowns series, and that book hasn't come out yet. So there are some books that I do read before the sequels come out. I just don't usually like to, because then I feel like you have to sit in anticipation for so long. The first book that I was talking about, I've already read all the Red Queen series, and now I kind of feel like I need a refresher because it's been so long since I read the Red Queen series, and now I'm about to start diving into this new book. I need to like refresh my memory of what the other books are about. The last book that I have here is Seeker, which is by Veronica Rossi, and the first book is Riders. I read that one last year and I did enjoy it, but it wasn't one that I felt like I needed to go out and get the sequel right away. It was a bit slow at the beginning, but I really did enjoy that book, and I did a book review for that one, so I'll put that book review in the comments. It's a story about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and this book right here is about the person that they refer to as the Seeker, whose job it was to find the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So I really did enjoy Riders, even though it was a little bit slower of a story to get going. I really did enjoy it. Unfortunately, even though I did want to read the sequel, it wasn't one that I felt like I needed to rush out and get it right away. But since it was a decent price, I went ahead and decided to get it. I had been keeping my eye out for it, and for the longest time it either wasn't available or it was more than I was willing to pay. So I was super excited to find it. So actually that was the only hardback book that I got besides Warstorm. All of the rest were actually paperback. They all were under $5, but most were $3 or $4. So that was pretty exciting. I really enjoyed the sale that they had going on. There were so many books that I wanted to buy, and it was so difficult to narrow it down. I ended up choosing a lot of things that I had books on my shelf already. I got rid of a lot that I wanted that I was like, oh, I don't know, that's really not a top priority. So I figured if I went ahead and completed series that I had on my shelf, then I would be more in a hurry or more apt to read the books that I bought. Hopefully I'll be getting to some of these books soon because I'm super excited about all of them. But thank you for joining me. If you bought any books recently, let me know down in the comments. If you got a chance to check out the Book Outlet paperback sale, let me know some of the things that you bought or post a picture of some of your books. And if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave me a like, and if you'd like to see some more videos by me, please consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!